Hi everyone, Haley here from The Foiled Plan. If you are already a foiled friend, thank you for joining me again today, and if you're new here, welcome. I share a lot of different content on my channel. Things like design videos, Cricut crafts, foiling, dollar store DIYs, epoxy tumblers, unboxings, and pretty much anything related to running a small creative business. So if that sort of content interests you, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button to become a foiled friend and turn the notification bell on so you never miss an uploaded video. Now that you know a little bit about my channel, let's jump into our next DIY. Today I'm going to show you how to create this DIY wooden shelf. The best part is that it's super budget friendly and takes very little time to put together. Now I use mine to display glitter, but you can use it any way you like. Originally, I created this glitter shelf organizer out of products all from the dollar store. So if you're interested in a smaller glitter organizer, maybe check out that video. I'll put a link to it in the description box below, as well as up here in the corner. Now, this organizer has been hanging on my wall filled with glitter for months, and it still looks like I just made it yesterday. So it holds up great, but the only problem is my glitter collection has outgrown it, which means the creative juices have to start flowing and I need to come up with a solution. So that's why I upgraded and created this new wooden shelf, because my collection is only going to get bigger. To get started, first collect all of your supplies. Some of the things that I'm using are optional and others may be substituted for things that you have in your home. But for the purpose of this project, I'm going to show you what I used. These first couple things like paint, paintbrush, wood filler, a hammer, and nail punch are all optional because they're for the finishing look of the project. So if you don't have them, don't stress. I also used a miter box and a handsaw, obviously to cut my wood, and a tape measure and pencil to mark my measurements. I used a brad nailer to attach everything together. I used a level and a hand drill. I have some brad nails in 1.5 inch size. I grabbed wood screws, corner braces, a square to create perfect 90-degree angles, and sandpaper. Oh yeah, we can't forget the most important part, which is the wood. So this is 1x3x8 select pine from Home Depot, and I ordered it for curbside pickup. Once I had all of my supplies, it was time to get down to business. So I set all of my glitter aside and began to remove my current glitter shelf organizer. Once the old one was down, I used my tape measure to measure the space that the new shelf was going to go on. I wanted to make sure that it was going to be the right size. Then I took my first piece of pine, laid it on top of my ping pong table, which doubles as a great workstation, and I measured out exactly 4 feet. I made a mark, and then I used my square to create a perfect 90-degree angled straight line. This is going to make it so that I know exactly where to cut. Then Brady attached our miter box to another workbench in our other room. That's usually where I end up cutting things. I brought in the piece of wood and then set it gently in the miter box. Next, Brady showed me how to line up the wood and the saw perfectly and then lock the wood in place. It's important to remember that the saw has a thickness to it, so make sure you're cutting on the correct side of the line you just drew. Once the 4-foot piece was cut, we took sandpaper to file down the rough edges. Then I set that piece aside and I took the other half and brought it back out to my ping pong table and measured again 4 feet. You have to be careful, even though wood says it's 8 feet long, it's typically a little bit different than that. And even though it takes more time because you measure each piece that you're going to cut, it's definitely more accurate. So with this 4-foot piece, cutting off the little excess piece was a little bit more challenging, so I had Brady support the weight of the wood on the other side and again just smooth out the edges with sandpaper. Now you're going to repeat these 2 cuts with 2 more boards. So you'll be left with 1 board that's untouched and then 6 4-foot long pieces. These pieces are going to be where the glitter actually sits, but I also need to figure out the length of the side pieces that hold them together. So I set these shelf pieces on top of each other and measured, which is 4.5 inches. And then I took into account the amount of space I want in between each shelf, which is 6 inches. So 6 times the number of spaces between the shelves, plus the height of the actual shelves, the total is 34.5 inches. So I took my piece of untouched wood and I marked 34.5 inches, drew a straight line with my square, and I cut that piece, then followed the same process and measured out again 34.5 inches and cut that. Once I had all of my pieces, I decided to lay them out to make sure everything was going to fit snugly and how I wanted it. And it was nice to just see a preview of what the finished product was probably going to look like. Now it's time to attach this thing together. So I set up my air compressor and got out the brad nailer. Now again, this is optional. If you want to use a hammer and nails because you don't have something like this, by all means, feel free to do that. If you are using a brad nailer, it's a good idea to use the oil that typically comes with it before you insert the air compressor tube, hose, whatever you want to call it. And then pull the piece down to insert your brad nails, which I am using 1.5 inch brad nails. And if you're new to using them, there is a right side and a wrong side to put in first. Just make sure you have them going in the way that they will be coming out. So typically the head of the brad nail will be closest to you. So that way when it shoots out, it just makes sense. Then we turned on the air compressor, and this always scares me. I'm not a huge fan of using air compressors or nail guns. It just, I don't know, freaks me out. Having said that, they do speed up the process of your project because they take a lot less time than a hammer and nails. Anyways, so first we worked on the actual outer frame to make sure everything was square. We used our square to create that 90-degree angle and put in our first couple nails. We did about 3 or 4 on each side. And after the first couple, I realized it's a lot easier if you pull your project to the end of the surface you're working on and hold the nail gun the correct way rather than leaning it down on the side. Once we got the frame together, we started working on the shelves. So measure from one wood piece to the next 6 inches and make your mark. And just make sure that it's 6 inches between each side. So we measured one side and to the other so that it wasn't going to be crooked like the shelf was. I mean, I'm not making sense. Anyways, then once we had the first shelf put on, I grabbed a glitter bottle to make sure that it was going to fit. Nothing worse than finishing a project and then realizing that somehow your sizes were off. And we just continue this process to add the rest of the shelves. And oh my goodness, Brady, pull up your pants, man. Sorry you had to see that, everyone. My goodness. You know, I can't complain because he is a really big help. And when I get an idea in my head, usually he's like, really? Okay, yep, let's do it. He's great like that. Anyways, we got all of the nails in and now it's a solid piece. So to add some finishing touches, I used a punch and I just hammered the brad nails further into the wood. They don't have to go in very far. You just want them a little bit below the surface of the wood. Then I took some wood filler. This stuff is pretty old, so it's not in the best shape, but it'll do for this. And I'm just using my finger, but I would probably recommend using gloves or some sort of spatula device because I don't know how your skin will react to it. But just take a little bit and push it into each one of the little holes. And if you have some excess, don't worry, we're gonna sand it off after. And then just wait for it to dry. It won't take that long. And then just make sure you do the other side as well. Once that has had time to dry, just give it a light buff with some sandpaper. Get rid of any pieces that are sticking up. You just want it to be as smooth as possible so when you apply paint to finish it off, it has that smooth finished look. Now, I didn't include this next thing in my materials for this project, but I'm using a drop cloth. I got it from the dollar store. You can also just use newspaper, or just, if you have a surface you don't mind getting paint on, then feel free to do that. So I just set it back down on top of my ping pong table, and then I also grabbed a wet rag just to clean off any residue from the sanding. So again, we have a nice clean look for the paint to adhere to. Because if it's dusty, it's not going to look as nice and it won't apply as nice. Now that that is clean, it's dry, I just gave my can of paint a little shake. I used my hammer to open it. You can use a screwdriver too, whatever you have on hand. And I wanted it to be elevated just a little bit off of the drop cloth. So I had some extra pieces of wood that I just set it on top of. I know I've seen some people take like push pins before and just kind of push those in the back of things and then set it down on there so it's not sitting directly on something. But whatever you have and whatever works for you, go for it. Now I'm just applying an even coat of the paint, making sure to get in all of the corners. And if you happen to have any drips, just make sure you take care of those by swiping the paintbrush through it as quickly as you can, because you don't want it to dry like that and then you have runs in your paint. It just doesn't look as nice. Now, I did 2 coats of paint for this, and if you're someone like me who absolutely hates washing paintbrushes, in between the coats, if you just stick the paintbrush in a sealed bag, then it will keep it from drying out, and then you can just pull it out when you're ready to do the second coat and it will be perfect. That way you only have to wash your brush once. Once your shelf has dried completely, it's time to hang it on the wall. This process is a lot easier if you have a second person, just because there is a little bit involved. So we're going to take our corner brackets or corner braces, and we are going to attach those to the top of the shelf. I didn't get a great picture of this, but basically you can pre-drill your holes and then the screws will go in a lot easier. And then I didn't space them out on the top the same distance apart. Basically, I found out on the wall where my studs were, and then I placed a couple of the braces on those spots on the top of the shelf, and then the other 2 were just sort of extra stability. So if you can find the studs in your wall, that is definitely your best bet. And use a level to make sure everything sits perfectly straight. And just as an added bit of stability, we added 2 more of the braces on the bottom. We could have done 4. Those packs come in 4 pieces and I got 2 of them, but I thought it was a little bit overkill to do all 4. It was not going anywhere with 4 on the top and 2 on the bottom. And this is how it looks now that we've got it up on the wall. And like I mentioned, those top ones, because they're not spaced out the same distance apart, it might look a little bit off, but once you have glitter or paint or whatever sitting on top of it, you can't even see those braces. Now the only thing left to do is organize my glitter. So I typically organize my glitter in sort of a rainbow color scheme, and I rejigged and moved things around lots of times before I figure out exactly how I want it. And I make sure that there's space in between because, like I said, my collection is always growing, and I wanted to make sure that there was space as I add more to my collection. Alright, now that it's finished hanging up on the wall, it's displaying my glitter and paint beautifully. Let's recap how we made it. So we started out with 4 pieces of wood. It was select pine 1 by 3 by 8. We took 3 of those pieces of wood and we cut them into 2 4-foot sections, which gave us 6 shelves that would be horizontal. Then we took the remaining piece of pine and we cut 2 pieces out of that wood at 34.5 inches long. Those became our vertical side pieces to hold everything together. We used a brad nailer to first create the frame of the shelf and then added in the shelves at 6 inches apart. I used a nail punch to push the nails slightly below the surface of the wood, filled in the spots with wood filler, Then I gave everything a light sanding. I cleaned that off and applied 2 coats of paint. Once that had dried, we attached the corner braces on the top of the shelf, found the studs in the wall, and used a level to hang it. And just in case you were wondering what I did with my old shelf, I repurposed it by moving it to the other side of my craft room, and now it holds my embossing powder, thread, and my buttons. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. I will be sure to put the written instructions as well as helpful links in the description box below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and becoming a foiled friend and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss a video. Well, thanks for watching. That's all I'm going to say. Bye!